RJ Harvey is confident that he can be one of Sean Payton's best running backs of all time. This is your Denver Sports Daily for May 12th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
Rookie minicamp began this past Friday, and RJ Harvey mentioned that he spent part of the day watching film of some of Sean Payton's former running backs like Alvin Kamara and Darren Sproles. Now, he was setting some high standards for himself, saying, definitely want to be like those guys, like Darren Sproles. He went crazy with the Saints. Kamara too. So I want to be better than those guys. Hey, I don't hate overconfidence. I'll never hate on overconfidence. But there's something to be said about you want to come in and be better than Alvin Kamara, arguably one of the best running backs of the past, decade. He was. Alvin Kamara had some of the best stats, the best numbers. He's amazing. One of the best Saints running backs, honestly, of all time, and worked under Sean Payton. And you're saying, I want to be better than him. I don't hate confidence. I don't at all. I'll never hate overconfidence. But there's something to be said about a guy who hasn't even taken a snap yet coming in saying, I want to be better than Kamara. Sure, hey, love the confidence, but let's work on some stuff first. Let's actually take a snap. Let's see if the Broncos can actually get you the ball and make you a running back, because we haven't seen that in the past couple of years. Let's see something like that. You look at the run game for the Broncos, especially last season, it was nowhere to be found. So saying, I want to be better than Kamara, how are we going to do the running? Is the run game going to be as heavy as it was with Alvin Kamara? Now, he did begin working out this weekend, setting a high bar with his above-average burst, speed, and pass-catching ability. So he was going out there and making a name for himself in rookie minicamp, but that's just it. It's rookie minicamp. What more? We got to see a little bit more. We got to actually get to training camp and then actually see a couple games to decide how good is this guy going to be. And if you've watched the show and you've watched me talk about RJ Harvey, I'm not going to hide it. I don't like the pick that much. It's not a great pick. I'm not all in on RJ Harvey at all. So the best thing that I can do is hope that he proves me wrong. And again, overconfidence is something I will never, ever hate on. But I want to see a snap. I want to see a real training camp. I want to see him get out there and compete against some of these other running backs on this team right now before I can really start forming a true opinion. Because all that I've got right now is an opinion on where he should have been drafted and if he was really a second-round pick and his stature. Do I really like a short running back? We'll see. We'll see how it moves out moving forward. And Sean Payton made sure to give Harvey some credit and confidence, saying, I know the question is he a 3-down running back? Well, he's going to play on 3rd down, but he could play on 3rd down where the tight end is in protection. So there's a lot we can do relative to really suiting his strengths. I love that from Sean Payton. You're giving him credit. You're saying, we're going to try to suit his strengths as best as possible. That's what you should want from a head coach. And if there's anything that we know, it's that Sean Payton knows what he's doing. He got his guy. If RJ Harvey's the guy, I'm going to trust it because, Sean Payton has proven that he can draft the right players. He's proven that he can make players great. So hopefully he can do that same thing with RJ Harvey. And again, it'll be very interesting to see how they use Harvey in the upcoming season, especially with how poor the run game was last year. It was just terrible. So again, very interested to see what they're actually going to do with him this season. Now, moving on, the Nuggets split games over the weekend, getting a win on Friday and blowing a lead yesterday. It was a story of ice and fire for the Nuggets this weekend. On one end, they played incredibly, and on the other, incredibly poor. On Friday, the Nuggets took a 2-1 series lead as they beat the Thunder 113-104 in overtime, thanks to a great team performance all around. Nikola Jokic had one of his worst statistical performances of his playoff career, shooting a very poor 8 for 25 from the field and an even poorer 0 for 10 from 3. Now, what's crazy is that he shot 8 for 25, worst statistical performance from Nikola Jokic in his playoff career, and he still finished the game with 20 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 assists. 2016 and 6. Almost a triple-double, and it's one of his worst playoff games of all time. Now, Michael Porter Jr. had his comeback game. He had Nikola Jokic's back. He was in there. He was playing how a max contract player should play. That's the one thing that you've heard me say. Play like a max contract player, MPJ, and he did so, recording 21 points and 8 rebounds on 7 for 10 shooting and 5 for 6 from the 3. That's what Michael Porter Jr. should be every single time. 21 and 8 every single time. Those kind of numbers win you a championship. Now, you'd think after a win like that on home court, they would have some extra energy, a little extra burst heading into a game 4 where they could take a 3-1 lead. But unfortunately, the Nuggets blew it in the fourth quarter. Now, the game started terribly for both teams. I've never seen a game like this in my life. How bad both of these teams were playing was insane. Both teams scored a combined 25 points in the first quarter. That is the lowest first quarter score in playoff history. Now, what's even crazier is that the Nuggets only had 8 points. In the first quarter, the entire length of the first quarter, the Nuggets could only get 8 points. Now, the Nugs went down by as much as 15 points, but they were able to claw their way back. They fought, they scrapped, and they got an 8-point lead near the end of the third quarter. And luckily, that was thanks to the amount of free throws that the Nuggets were able to get. They were able to stay in the game because of how many free throws they were getting. They were getting on the line early. They were doing exactly what they should when they're not getting any jump shots to fall, can't get an open layup, can't, do anything because they were clogging the lanes. But if you live by that sword, you're going to die by that sword. They ended up missing 10 free throws, and most of those misses came in clutch time, and it ended up costing them the game. They ended up losing, and the Nuggets overall, terrible shooting. They, as a team, 25 of 80. They only made 25 of 80 shots. That's 31%, and 11 of 45 from three. That's 24%. Just terrible all the way around when you're actually talking about shooting. What's going on the floor? They're not getting any of their open shots that they were getting. And if you look back on Friday, they weren't getting open shots, but they were hitting contested ones. And that's how you're going to have to win against OKC, because they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat on Sunday. Now, Nikola Jokic ended up leading the team with 27 points and 13 rebounds, but in the end, they did lose 92-87, and they will be back in Oklahoma for Game 5 tomorrow night. It's a must-win. Game 5s every time. Game 3, Game 5, Game 7s, the odd games. You got to get those wins. If they can get a win in Game 5, we could be getting ready to see something pretty crazy again in the Mile High City. Now, moving on, the Rockies finally made a move that will impact the team greatly. After a historically bad 7-33 start, the Rockies decided that it was time to move on from manager Bud Black. This news came after the Rockies got a rare win against San Diego. The Padres earlier in the day, they got a and when I say rare win, I'm not just saying it's hard to get a win. I'm saying you only got 7 on the season. They got that win against the Padres yesterday, but the day before, they were shut out by the Padres, losing by an insane score of 21-0. 21-0. It was insane to watch. I was looking at, you get the notifications on your phone what the game score is. I was watching and I was like talking to my parents. I was like, guess what the score is at the top of the first. It was something crazy like 5-0, and it just kept growing. Now, Black was one of the longest tenured managers in MLB, starting his manager position with the Rocks back in 2017. And in those 8 years, Black was 544 and 690, taking Colorado to back-to-back playoff berths in 2017 and 2018. Now, what will happen is the current third base coach, Warren Schaffer, will take over the management role in the meantime, and he's hoping to keep the Rockies from losing 130 games. Who even knows what their goal is right now? Because 130 losses is what the Rockies are looking at. That's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I do want to read some of your comments. Let's see. Sounds like you never set goals before to say someone shouldn't say they want to be better. No, listen. I like the confidence. I love the confidence. I want him to set high goals, but I'm just saying, I don't know if I see it. I don't know if I see RJ Harvey being that kind of Alvin Kamara. He's got a lot of great skills. He's got a lot of, first of all, confidence is a skill. He's got a lot of very good potential, especially in that pass game. He's got a lot of burst, but is this the guy? That's what I'm saying. That's the whole thing I'm saying. And again, if you've watched, I don't like the pick at all. And I'm going to stand on that. I'm not going to be one of those who's just going to slide away and hide because you guys don't agree. I'm saying right now, I don't like the pick at all. And confidence like that actually makes me like him a little bit more. But let's just think about this. Is he going to be Alvin Kamara? Will he be better? Or is he just kind of saying stuff to get the fans hyped? Now, I get it. You want to be a fan of your pick. I want to be a fan of him. I want him to go out there and prove me wrong. That's my biggest hope, is that he can go out there and prove me wrong. Prove that everything that I've said was wrong. I was way off. I want to be wrong on this, but I just don't see it. I don't see anything worth throwing a second round pick at this guy for. And that's where my head's at. And if you disagree. That's fine. That's what we're here for. I'm not here to have you agree with everything that I say. That's just bad talk. That's boring. Disagree with me. Tell me you don't like it, because what I want to see is him to go out there and prove that he is a second-round pick, prove that he can be one of the better players drafted, prove he's going to be better than Alvin Kamara. That's what I want to see. So I definitely get where you're coming from, but just kind of see where my head's at, because I don't like the pick at all. I want him to have that confidence. I like where his head's at, but I want him to actually go out there and prove it. That's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I will see you guys all tomorrow, previewing a huge, huge Nuggets game. It's game 5. It's a must win. The Nuggets are going to have to win this, or else they will be putting themselves in a very bad position. But that'll do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.